Welcome to another deep dive analysis. Today we're examining a common argument often invoked in discussions about sacred texts. The unlettered prophet could not have sourced his message from previous scriptures or other sources, so the book that came through him must be divine. Let's break this argument down step by step and analyze it logically. But hold your horses, this isn't intended to prove that the Qur'an's origin is not divine. Rather, it's an analysis of the validity of the argument itself. First, the argument begins with the premise: the prophet is unlettered. This implies that the individual is believed to lack the ability to read or write, suggesting he had no access to written texts or formal education. However, here's an important point. In many oral cultures, being unlettered does not necessarily mean being uneducated or incapable of learning. Knowledge was, and often still is, transmitted orally through memorization, storytelling, and communal teaching. Thus, while the term suggests a lack of conventional literacy, it doesn't rule out the acquisition of wisdom, cultural knowledge, or learning via oral tradition. After all, no one is claiming that the prophet was incapable of learning, is he? Next, the argument claims, so that person can't get the information from previous scriptures or other sources. The assumption here is that without the ability to read or write, the individual couldn't have obtained any information from existing written texts or scriptures. However, this premise overlooks a critical aspect: oral transmission. In societies where oral traditions dominate, teachings, stories, and religious knowledge are passed down verbally. So even without reading, a person can receive and transmit complex information, sometimes even with great precision and memory. This scenario is only possible for someone who is unable to read or write and is deaf, without knowledge of any sign language. Are we really prepared to apply this characterization to our beloved prophet? Finally, the argument concludes, so the book that came through an unlettered prophet is divine. The reasoning here is that if the person couldn't have sourced the content from human written texts, then the only alternative is that the content must be of divine origin. While this conclusion seems neat, there are some logical issues to consider. First, it creates a false dichotomy by assuming there are only two possible sources: human authorship or divine revelation. It ignores other possibilities, such as the role of oral tradition or innate cultural creativity. Secondly, it risks falling into an argument from ignorance. Just because we can't find evidence of one explanation doesn't necessarily prove the other must be true. In summary, the argument, the unlettered prophet could not have sourced his message from previous scriptures or other sources, so the book that came through him must be divine, is fallacious. Each premise rests on underlying assumptions. In an oral culture, being unlettered does not preclude learning. Even without written text, knowledge can be robustly transmitted through spoken word. Therefore, the conclusion that the book must be divine does not necessarily follow. It is based on assumptions open to challenge. Aren't we claiming that the Qur'an was robustly preserved through oral transmission, while also arguing that an unlettered prophet could not have copied from previous scriptures or other sources? I must reiterate, debunking the unlettered prophet argument does not diminish the divinity of the Qur'an. Thanks for watching our logical analysis. If you enjoyed this breakdown, please like, share, and subscribe for more critical thinking and discussion videos. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think about the argument? Can a prophet who can read and write bring forth a divine book? Food for thought, isn't it? See you next time. Peace be upon you.